And here we go with the legwork phase, as though it were so mechanically called. Um, so yeah, no, the ball is in your court. You guys have each, well, you as a team have received 5,000 nuyen that you can do whatever it is you will with. You are in the private room with the honeypot. The Johnson has turned and left if nobody had anything else for her, which it sounded like you guys didn't. Um,
We received 5,000 million. We are the honeypot. I know what we're going to do.
Hookers and blow.
Yeah, no, not really.
Let me write his.
Be responsible and save our money for future problems. Yeah.
Invested into bonds.
Speaking of future problems, I understand that Nova Coke is something that a lot of faces do. What does that do for you exactly?
It gives you a drug habit. Mechanically, it increases your charisma and your willpower, but when you crash from it, your willpower and charisma one. It is super coke.
But you can just take more then and be up again, right?
I mean, Chrome Flesh has these
And
wonderful.
that's how addictions happen.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
I mean,
That's the mechanism.
like it is a thing you could do. I can't tell you whether or not it's a good or a bad idea, but let's think about the idea of, man, I just got done snorting a line of coke. Let me snort another line of coke.
God, this Coke sure is wearing off. I better do some more before it wears off.
It's just giant
Oh,
piles.
I'm out. I should find
In my
someone to
personal
sell
experience, that's exactly how it works.
Then you might want to seek some professional help for your coke problem. But
Forget
All
that.
right.
He just needs to send me money. That way he can afford his coke problem. Problem solved.
Based on some of the conversations that we had, I've created a small, very, very, very small list of things that we came up with that we can start working on with legwork.
But where is that list?
I've made an arrow to it on the Roll20. Hold on, let me make just like a ton of arrows. Or that'll work also.
Excellent. Could we get a big green circle too?
Working on it. Boom.
All right.
Anything else?
some stars would be great.
I think I'll be able to find that again.
This is going horribly wrong, and I'm loving it. All right, there we go. I got one good one.
I think we can go ahead and check off talk to face about drug problems.
I mean, we've talked about it. I don't know if we've solved it.
Well, face is going to redirect your questions to hand.
Damn.
I can't draw hands in real life. I'm not going to try with a mouse.
That's a good idea.
All right. So we've got that. So we had one person talking about maybe setting up some spirit surveillance, but that's kind of short term. I was looking at the price of cameras.
I would assume the matrix search, as it's like information stuff, would be first. So like just scouring the matrix, maybe as a team, although not all of us are matrix capable.
All right. So
So
sounds like we're leaving the place then.
One thing that might be worth talking about is the potential ways that we could go about trying to solve this problem, so that we can then direct our legwork toward which of them we're actually going to try and do.
Well, obviously we need to have eyes on him at all times, and someone who can react quickly if they find an avenue of approach that we didn't think about.
I can pose as his driver or assistant or something and follow him around.
Can you?
Sure, I can. That's what I do.
That would be insanely helpful, having someone next to him. But like a driver, maybe not. I don't know, maybe like an assistant or a guide, or I don't know. During the convention, something.
Honestly, I was thinking about a potential solution being to just get him into an armored vehicle and park it somewhere deep underground for a week.
Well, he's got
He
appointments
has to
to
be to
keep.
appointments.
Well, like my idea may be cheaper and easier is to fake his death somewhere public.
Actually, that's a good point.
Owed him
I
for
had the
more.
same objection to your plan.
What's that?
He has to keep appointments.
I mean, was that mentioned? All I was told was he had to get on the plane.
Yeah, she said meeting appointments would be better, but
Okay.
safety is paramount. So if the threat is big enough he can't make his appointment, then just keep him safe.
Well, I assume that she made a deal with us, but it's like not totally out of line to maybe when she gets mad because we just removed him from the convention, just in case. Maybe it goes wrong a little bit. I don't know.
I think the situation is that, strictly speaking, we're getting paid what we're getting paid to make sure that he gets on the plane. And if we have to take him off the table to make that happen, then they'll understand. But they're not going to be super happy if we use that as plan A.
Okay.
And the happier we keep him, the better chance of repeat business.
So, So, someone like on the convention ground would be nice. Someone who's better at looking around for like a matrix stuff around the place. And like a surveillance team around the convention center. Do we know will he be like leaving or will be he just on the ground?
We don't have an official itinerary. They said it was going to be, evolving as stuff goes on.
The little bit of his information that you have is he will have a hotel room in the second hotel. I drew a picture. Don't get used to this. I never draw maps. He's going to have a hotel room in Hotel 2. It doesn't have the exact room on there yet because he hasn't checked in yet. That's a thing of beauty right there that I'm seeing.
So we can sort of read his room.
Like I regret rolling that so bad.
1,
So
2,
bad.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh my god.
That's like critical glitch so hard it's not even funny.
Yeah.
You found his twin brother, who is apparently just at the same spot at the same time, but it's not him.
Yeah, it turns out that Sergeant Olsen is a Japanese schoolgirl. That's a little weird, but
the info checks out,
Here's the question. May I spend a point of edge to try and downgrade that from a critical glitch, or is that just too bork to say?
You can spend a point of edge to downgrade from a critical glitch to just a glitch.
aw.
I don't know any successes at all, so I don't know if that's still on the table.
Well, it might be a giant super unsuccess, so maybe it's worth it.
So here's what we're gonna do. If you want to spend an edge, you will just have found no information. If you don't spend an edge, I'm going to give you some information, and some of it's going to be wrong.
Apparently, if I don't, a lot of it's going to be wrong. That's
Well,
like
no,
zero
if you don't, you're just not going to find anything.
No. I want this to happen. I want everything to go horribly wrong. Let's take the information.
Yeah, I kind of want to find out what kind of hilarious information you get looking up a sergeant with a critical glitch like that.
But yeah, actually, that sounds hilarious.
Okay.
I will save my edge for now. I may need it to survive the ensuing gunfire.
Okay. So, man, let me think of some delicious information to bring up while I look at some of this stuff.
Excuse my muttly way.
No, that's fine. I'm just reading. So 5 hit, tons of different, you're in downtown with this. There are tall buildings, there are medium buildings, there are short buildings. This is like an open breezeway with just some reinforced glass on it. It's really artistic, Top opens so that you can see up to where, there are skyscrapers and stuff.
Shit, I don't like that.
So we're not talking about like bulletproof glass for security or anything like that. We're just this is just thick.
Let's say bullet resistant because it's
Right.
it's tougher glass. But if you were the kind of person that would use a high-powered 50 caliber anti-material rifle to go hunting people, like some Shadowrunners might be prone to doing, that's not gonna. It may save you from the first bullet. It won't save you from the second.
But what I was looking for is I'm obviously not a sniper. Like
Me neither.
5 or 6 specific locations that maybe a shooter would set himself up on if their plan A or plan Z or whatever was to shoot the guy as he enters or leaves.
So in that situation, either of the breezeways has pretty open with that. Let me find another color here so that I can.
So if he will be in either of the breezeways for any amount of time, we need either someone next to him to protect him, or someone like under the breezeway to catch him, or anything. Like,
Well, we can't send guys next to him, and unless you want to grapple onto the breezeway, that may not be able to follow around.
I'm not talking about myself, since I am like I'm going to be doing stuff from behind the scenes. So someone more like conman kind of guy, like the big giant we have.
So the breezeway that I marked is the one that's going to have the best options for shooters. There are a couple of buildings that are like off from there that give you really good line of fire. One is a small apartment complex, one is another parking garage, and then the other ones are just other buildings that you could be on top of and have a good line of sight to that breezeway in particular.
So just to clarify things, are we just looking at the stuff, or like reconnaissance, or are we just doing matrix, sort of like looking?
I was just
around?
I was on Google looking at pictures.
He's on Google Maps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but you said he was in Hotel 2, right?
Yes.
So he would be less likely to use that breezeway.
Unless he was going into Hotel 1 for any number of things.
Yeah, he didn't check in.
Right. Okay. You know what I was just thinking, actually?
He's in 2.
Being the client. Has anybody played the most recent Metal Gear? 5, I think.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Okay. Well, there's this crazy ass psychotic thing that they have, where if you want to get stuff out of the theater of operations, you just attach like a balloon to it, and it flies away and goes into a plane and leaves. It turns out that's an actual thing that our military has.
Like in Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I thought, what a wacky thing they've come up with. But yeah, that's real. And if anybody were to have something like that, I think it would be Ares. So if we need to get him off a breezeway quick, we could do that.
But he will be like vulnerable flying up, so they can finish the job.
Yeah, you can't go for cover when you're floating.
Eventual goals, guys. I do have pilot aircraft. That sounds like the best way to extract a target. Not this mission, but eventually.
All right. Interesting.
But, yeah.
You're part of the job. Just sit in the plane he's going to fly out of the CLO.
Just grab him and don't screw it up, so you don't, bird on windshield him. Because that would be bad.
As long as he doesn't have a cape, he'll be fine.
Okay, let's grab him, put him on the ground, and someone impersonate him, and just like our giant, or I don't know.
Do we have a picture of him?
You do?
Oh, sure. That's what I was about to ask.
Oh yeah, that's what's no. I think that our 0 success critical failure matrix search should be what provides us that picture.
She gave you a picture to begin with.
Thanks, guys. No pressure or anything.
So on your critical glitch, some of the information you get is that he was dishonorably discharged for, fraternizing with several of his squad mates, I guess is what they would call them. I guess I don't know what you call. I'm not an army person. I don't.
Sounds good enough to me.
Sure. A couple of other pieces of information is that he does not have a family, as in children, but he is married to another man. You have the information that his career in sales, as it were, since he transitioned to the civilian sector, hasn't been going great. You get some more information about how he lives. Now I'm trying to, I guess, Northern California, we'll say. So that's kind of where he's coming from. That he is I I guess they would call him like a private pilot. Like he has his own plane and he likes to fly. He is also a big Urban Brawl fan. Let me see what other kind of fun bits of information you could get.
Wait, he was dishonorably discharged for fraternization, yet he's important enough to them that they want to hire us to keep him alive?
Critical glitch.
Yeah, I know. I'm just rolling with the information I'm hearing.
Oh, all right.
Well, that either means he's really important or that he has some info to keep him important.
Ah. Yeah, everything else sounded completely reasonable.
I mean, I don't know. Some of that stuff sounded fairly unreasonable to me.
Well, I'm thinking anything that we get back from, even from a critical glitch that just severely tests the bonds of credulity, we might be able to follow up on and get some better information. But the rest of that, fraternization or, he's married to a man or whatever, like, that could all be true. Is Ares homophobic? Would that not be true?
I mean, not that I'm aware of, but that's just information that was found.
Okay.
He could have been OP a couple of times. No, nothing.
So when
Sorry.
I got nothing. Sorry.
no, that'd be amusing.
What kind of biographical details do we have on him? Like, what is he, a human? What is he?
Human, male, early 50s. Let's go 53.
Yeah, because we got a
Okay.
picture of her, didn't we?
Sure did get a picture of him.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
Heck's
guys,
here really
I think if we want to go with the idea of bagging him and then impersonating him, I think it's probably going to have to be Dante.
As you say that, the servos in my face are going to start operating. The wig's going to change to make an approximation of the guy's face as I'm holding the picture.
Go ahead and roll some dice.
No.
Let's see how much of a horror show you have.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you've done this in front of them?
Well, we've only had one job before. The job that we did didn't sound like I might have had to do it. But they might have seen the wig stuff.
Yeah, but that's normal. Somebody's face going is not.
Yeah.
Are we still in the B thing?
You guys can be wherever you like.
So let's not be there.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
Now-
good.
Where'd Dante go?
In light of that, do we want me to try and touch him up with makeup? Because I do have ranks in the disguise skill.
He looks probably pretty realistically like him.
I mean, there's still
Yeah,
more
maybe-
you could like. There's only so much that mushing your face around can do. You could get some makeup to add like some moles or something along those lines there if you wanted.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm wondering is, can he
Disguise.
now that he's done this with his however he did that, can he save that setting so as to not? Okay.
Yeah, you just write that down on the table somewhere that you got 6 hits on a disguise to look like him.
Okay. Because I don't think we need to start throwing eyeshadow on him or anything right now, but because the
In
trouble
case
is, if he looks like that guy now, they might try and kill him. Huh.
Hey, that's the bigger piece of the pie for us. I mean, what?
Don't really like that option.
Jokes aside, though, yeah, it would probably put him in danger. That would be probably a reliable plan, G or something like that.
Or
But
we could maybe set up a spot in which we have a car just like ours, and we take him to the car, and while we're running away, the impersonator is in the other car, and we can split to make them choose.
sounds fair. Well, I mean, if they chase after one that's not being piloted by Rigger, you guys are in a lot of danger. But yeah.
Well, what I was thinking was, if Dante can perfectly impersonate this guy, then the option of sticking him in a hole somewhere is back on the table. The only issue
but he
is that
doesn't have the info or
we
any.
only what?
Okay, continue.
Well, we only know part of his itinerary, so he would miss some of those meetings, and he would have to, take the rest of the meetings. Which, I mean, Dante, I don't know what your ability to pretend to be an Ares marketing sergeant would likely be.
I'm pretty confident I can make it work.
I don't doubt you are.
Not to be the wet blanket, but if we kidnap the guy and put him underground for a few days, isn't Mrs. Johnson going to be a little bit upset with us for our methods?
That should probably be a backup plan.
That depends on how well Dante does at the meetings. We're not necessarily going to tell her that's what we did.
Yeah, but he might.
If he remembers it.
That actually means
That's fair.
that maybe we put a giant target on ourselves, since when he disappears, they still might want to look for him.
Well, our job right now is to get in front of a guy who's got a target on his head, so we kind of already have a target on ourselves.
It's easier to sort of, I mean, unless we rat ourselves out, it's easier to intercept them than to sort of stop them.
Let's figure out the severity and the type of threat against him. That would be a good way to figure out what kind of plan we should make accordingly.
We need to figure out who the opposition is, I think, because honestly, the easiest way to do this would be to take them out.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're playing defense for an entire week, during which time we have to, sleep occasionally in this huge, sprawling complex of a public place full of armed fucking wackos.
Now, realistically speaking, since he's going to have security around him probably at almost all times, his weakest point is going to be at the convention. So, yes, we definitely need to keep an eye open, but he's probably... It seems like he's got decent corporate security until that point.
Well, he's got what? He's got like a troll bodyguard and an elf bodyguard.
Visible, yeah.
Bamce.
Hmm.
When I asked her about whether we were supposed to interface with his security, what did she say?
So she led you to believe that the less they knew of your direct involvement, the better, unless it was a operational necessity.
Oh, that's right, because they don't buy that there's a credible threat.
Right.
It's probably safe to assume that, like I said, she's probably the one who discovered this in the first place, and she's acting of her own directive to protect what's his name, possibly to maybe get herself further up in the corp or whatever.
Okay, so maybe if something happened that made it clear that the threat was real, it would be when we could interface with them.
Well, we can interface with them as long as they don't know that we're off book.
Can someone maybe meet them and check if we can wiggle one of our own into the team just by accident, just by, the higher ups gave an order or something into his regular team?
Rob? Is he away?
There's no guy.
I was muted and juggling. Muted.
Okay. So what I'm wondering is, how common is it for like various motley collections of metahumans with weird powers and equipment and drones, and one of them's in a nice suit and the other one has a big weapon? Like, is there anything that isn't a Shadowrunning team?
A circus act.
I mean, it depends upon where you're going. Like, going here to a place that sells guns, you're probably, if not a Shadowrunning team, somebody who is criminally connected.
Oh, that's something I didn't even think about before. So there's us, and there is this hit squad. But it's entirely possible that there are going to be all kinds of other runners at this place, just shopping. Or
How about that?
looking. Shit.
Man.
Wow, we can just go on the books for this. Damn.
Notice she did not give you tickets or anything for this place, and no fake identities to go with them. But you guys are more than welcome to step onto convention grounds.
Oh, we need tickets?
I mean, not any like super expensive tickets. As long as you don't have like a real crappy lifestyle, you could get, you know, admission for the day or something like that. Because like Gen Con is only like 60, $70 for the weekend. I can't imagine this being much higher.
Can we get some info on his guys, on the troll and the elf?
You can try.
I'll try. Well, I have
Who's
like
our-
shit matrix anything, so
Yeah, who is our Matrix support here? Because that would probably be, figure out more what we can about the security company kind of thing.
That didn't work out very well last time.
That's what I was thinking, but
well, we know a lot about him. Now try to find out more about his guys. Statistically speaking, we have chances.
Statistically speaking, that's not likely to happen twice, right?
Oh, please let it happen twice.
don't jinx this, Rob. There, don't jinx this.
Now, I've got an agent on my comm link. I rolled double the rating for matrix searches, right?
Hey, I did better.
That is, in fact, better. Considerably, might I add.
Yeah, well, so I guess not so much.
You'll get some stuff out of it. Looking at the picture that you had at the two of them, you'll notice that they both have like a logo on their thing that when you look up online is a Ares Knight Errant private security contract. You will also see that they are based out of Seattle. Like those two specific people. But you don't get anything more information based upon them.
Well, since we know, we already knew that it was Ares, I guess, but since we know a little bit more about maybe them specifically, perhaps we could figure out what their standard operating procedure is for security, so we can figure out what kind of threats we might not have to work with or worry about.
Have a security procedures knowledge skill?
I have security procedures.
Look at that.
Throw some dice.
While he's throwing, I have like architecture interest skill.
Mm-hmm.
That would be applied. That would be applied to when I'm walking around and looking at the stuff, right?
You can pretty easily Google like just the convention center floor plans, or like most of the times big places like this will have a website that you can go to that you can just look at their floor plan. So if you wanted to get a look at the easily publicly accessible stuff and use your knowledge skill to do something, you could totally do that.
You could probably also, since you're somewhat familiar with floor plans, you could look at the design of a room and figure out maybe where ventilation systems are. Where
That was my line of thinking. Like, I see the room. I maybe know something about how you would build that room or like design it. And the thing is, I don't exactly know what I'm looking for here. So like the ventilation, what like balconies of some sort, or walkways near the ceiling or something.
A couple of things you'll know just from looking at it, like the convention center, or we'll start with the hotels. The hotels over like the third floor is going to be where your actual rooms start, and all of those windows and stuff are going to be not bulletproof, but reinforced glass, because they don't want anybody picking up a chair, throwing it at the window, breaking it, and jumping out and committing suicide. So that's something you know about the hotels going up. The parking garage is going to be your fairly standard parking garage. A whole bunch of cars, given as this is like convention time, there is about a 0% chance of them having open spots unless you're like in there driving around at the time that somebody gets out. The breezeways, as we briefly talked about earlier, they are going to be not bulletproof glass, but they are going to be reinforced glass because they are exposed to the elements and they are subject to things like acid rain and the like. They have a nice glass open topped thing so you can get a little bit of natural sun or whatever light that comes in. Will probably stand up to most small arms fire for at least long enough to be like, oh, frag, somebody's shooting at us. But a high-powered rifle will probably cut right through it.
But they're connected to like Matrix network. So if someone, say, our like technomancer would like to do something with them, they would maybe
what?
Open?
Oh no, the breezeways don't open, and the hotel windows aren't going to open more than like 2 or 3 inches.
Okay, so that's fine.
Hey Rob, what's a glitch? Is it more than 50% ones, or is it just more ones than
Greater than
rate?
50, greater than half in ones. So
And
you
then-
rolled 5 dice. You need 3 ones.
Okay. And the only difference between a glitch and a crit glitch is if you have 0 successes, it's a crit glitch, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So,
Okay, our list. So like, so matrix search, set up surveillance. Maybe we should like, can we? It's like a week from now, right? Or like we have 2 days until he arrives or
He
something.
lands in 2 days.
yes.
So maybe we can just go and walk around the place early somehow before
Yeah,
the
that's a
convention
good point.
starts.
Yeah, you guys could go and get rooms in the hotel. The convention is going to have a lot of places right now that are closed off to you because they are like the main convention hall is going to be not accessible to the public because they are setting up tables and displays and vendors and all that kind of crap. And a couple of the other rooms won't be accessible to you. I should say legally accessible to you. You are all obviously professional criminals and thus do not care about that kind of thing.
Okay, so we have like 2 faces, right? Am I not mistaken?
I am face-like.
Okay, so we can spare one, maybe to sort of blend into and maybe be one of the staff, at least for 2 days, to walk around and look at how the place looks, or maybe get to know anything about the convention itself, like what will be going on behind the scenes.
Sure. I'll probably
Now-
blend in a little bit more than the 10-foot troll over there. They're giant.
Well, you know, it can happen. He can be like a well, never mind. Bamce. Now, I would have a question, like a reality check. Is it real to ask the astral world about any of that? Like, you know, oh, there's a convention now. Is there any buzz going on in the spirit world about anything?
Not
Or just as a shaman, I know it doesn't work.
like if there was a spirit that was hanging around in the area, you could ask the spirit what it knows, but like it's a different culture. Like to spirits, you exist for mere moments of its existence.
Sure.
So,
That's
like,
what I was asking about.
Your spirit's with us.
Yeah, so like going to that spirit and be like, "Hey, how do you feel about guns?" He'd be like, "Do not bother me, mortal." Brr. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely what I was looking for. Okay, thanks.
Like the spirits can't even read computer screens because they just
If you
don't.
could just end every sentence that a spirit says with "blur," that'd make my day. Thanks.
It's not a problem. I will I'll endeavor to do so.
Well, I mean, I think we have a general idea of a plan.
Okay, so just a question: are we asking the info broker guy, or I mean, am I asking because I'm part of the team, and when I ask, our actions may be out, so that kind of stuff.
I mean,
I know, it's my favor, sure, but you know, do we want to expose ourselves anyway, or just later, or I don't know.
what is it exactly you want to find? We can figure out a way to phrase, or we can assume that you phrase it in a way that doesn't reveal you're necessarily on a Shadowrun. I mean, hell, you could make it seem like you're trying to kill him, and then we don't reveal ourselves at all.
Now, Rob, is it the thing that if I'm not super well spoken, I can sort of say I want to do, or
So you want to call up the contact, right?
I would like to chat with my friend Locust there and check if he knows anything about stuff like that, because our Matrix search went so well.
Sure. So here's how we're going to kind of roll this out. He's an info broker guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
His job is in the buying of selling information. He's
Sure.
also a loyalty one contact. So you can call him up and by all means ask him stuff. And depending upon the connection roll, he will give you information. However, at the moment he is a loyalty one contact. So after that conversation, I might make a roll of some kind to see who else may have asked him that information, or
Exactly, that's what I was talking about, and I asked my team.
Unless you want to go ahead and do something to pay for discretion.
Oh, I know a guy working in corporate security. What exactly are you looking to find out?
Well, that's a good question, and I think we could maybe brainstorm it. I don't want to be too sure of what I want to know. I would. Oh. One thing I would certainly like to know is, I don't know, maybe like a reality check thing first. So, are watchers as not quite spirits frowned upon in places? Because I know they can be banished. I know they cannot be like countered or dispelled or anything. But they are just like normal spirits. So they carry my astral signature. So if someone sees them, do they like call the police?
The answer to that question is based upon where you stick them and who spots them.
Okay, so just like basically flying around the convention center, let's say. So trying to look like it's just around the town. That would be super suspicious.
Let me take a quick look at their. Because if memory serves, they're not super bright.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't know how well everyone will think about it, but if we do something to alert security to a potential risk, doesn't that make our job easier? Because then security is looking for potential risks, which is what we're trying to prevent.
Well, discretion was part of what Johnson was most interested in, and I imagine informing all the security there that something's going on isn't terribly discreet.
No, I'm not saying like go up to them and be like, hey, we're going to try to kill him later. Blurg, make sure you're extra defensive. But I mean like dropping hints for them to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, the person that blends into the staff, for example. So one of our faces could be like, oh, I heard there's something going on. It's not confirmed, but maybe.
Well, don't forget.
The problem is, what if the security is in on it? Then it doesn't matter if you tip them off; they're not going to do anything.
Damn it! True.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also a potential security threat. If you take our intentions out of this situation, we're a group of people that aren't supposed to be there, tailing a guy, watching what he's doing.
And you're just there to save him, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're the good guys. Trust us, right?
Right.
So by raising the security level, it's also not going to help us.
No. We'll put on white trench coats and hats, and then we'll know that we're the good guys because the bad guys wear black.
I'm gonna have to shave my mustache. Damn it!
No, you can have a beard. It just you can't have a goatee.
Popeye the Sailor Man beard.
My mustache has to stop curling up.
So I will interject here for a moment to remind you guys that I told you guys I wasn't going to rake you over the coals on this because this is our first run together and that we are establishing a dialogue about how we each think. So that's the more important part. I'm not sitting here twirling my mustachio being like, "Ha ha! They're not going to do it correctly because my plan is great." Um so just like I mean, that is part of the translation of yes, you are sort of overcomplicating it, but not in like a. In the future, there may be other runs that are requiring of certain amounts of complication. It just felt like we were going a little bit in circles there for a minute.
Okay, so maybe we can just skip forward for now until when he arrives, and we just kind of we could make sure nothing happens at the airport.
No. Maybe
Oh yeah,
we
you want to
can
talk to your
skip
contacts.
forward, but maybe let's put someone in the convention center, or at least try. So like some info, or maybe ID cards, anything that could help us move around.
I got a guy. I can get us some ID.
Call him
So
up.
let's try that.
All right. Well, is anyone going in with me, or are we just looking for ID for the convention?
I mean, if you want, I can send my fly drone alongside you and have it go around, but I'm sure it'll get spotted by Matrix defenses.
Like, I have an ID manufacturer who might help us, but he's kind of a dick, and we may have to wait in a long line to come meet him.
All my ID manufacturer likes me.
Mine, not so much. He's decently connected, though. And
Hex,
we
you're
gotta
a
wait
little
in line
quiet.
at DMV to go meet him. Yeah, sorry about that. It's a little better.
A little better. There are actual sliders and stuff you can use to boost your thing.
Yeah, I've got his all the way up, and he's still a little quiet though.
Yeah, you can figure it out during our next break. So I don't know if we really went over it before. I usually handle all connection rolls as their connection times 2 plus their loyalty. So like a connection 3 guy will roll 6 dice plus whatever their loyalty is to do their thing. If you're asking for more of a favor, I might swap it into 2 times their loyalty plus their connection. But that's generally how that kind of stuff is resolved if you wanted to call these people to ask them to do a thing.
All right. Well, then, as a quick question, because I didn't give my ID manufacturer a whole lot of connection, I didn't think connection would make much difference in actually making an ID. Would the loyalty be the bigger role on that, or am I thinking of it wrong?
Well, it kind of depends upon what you're trying to do. If you're just trying to get some fake identification made, he might not need like that crazy much amount of connection, probably in like the 3 to 4 area. But like if you're trying to make identification to match a specific person, it's going to require a little bit more oomph on his end. And then it depends upon, like with a higher loyalty, he might be willing to say cut you a better deal on pricing, or let's say a run goes horribly wrong for you and you need to ditch your old identity and you don't have any identification, he might be able to float you on to get you by for a little while if he's, a bigger friend of yours.
Okay.
So, like so many other things, it's in a context of the moment as to what is more important and which way you would rather safeguard yourself.
Gotcha.
So for existence, that information broker would roll 11 dice to see how much information he can get on whatever it is you ask him. And he'll probably cost you money because he's in a business.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I'm not sure we're going to call the info broker yet, so maybe we want to call the ID guy. So everyone who has more loyalty than one first.
That would not be the ID guy.
Well, my ID guy, I might have put points in wrong. The loyalty's good, but connection's pretty crap. But
So
this
maybe
is
let's
also
try. So like
relatively
call
a simple
him,
ID.
see what you get. Now, loyalty is good for, when you botch up, he's just gonna say, sorry, I cannot do that. So maybe you should just try.
Sure. So I'll make a call to my ID manufacturer, just looking to get some simple IDs to get us in the door to the convention center. I'll probably
Simple
try and get.
ID or like staff IDs.
Well,
Something-
I'm probably gonna get staff because I'm gonna be nosing around a lot more. I don't know that you guys are going to be, and staff IDs are going to be harder to make as opposed to people just coming in to walk around the convention.
Sure. So maybe like one staff ID or possibly two for you and the other shaman. So because he's outspoken and shit.
Sure.
So call.
Okay. So I'm gonna call. Are we
With
gonna
dice.
role play it out, or you just want me to roll dice?
Let's roll dice and see how it goes, and then we'll go from there.
All right.
Because that would be like, oh yeah, no, best buddy, and then you roll no hits. It's like, sorry.
While he's rolling, can somebody catch me up?
Dante
I'll do
is-
it in Discord chat. 1 sec.
Yeah, I think Dante
Yeah.
is calling his ID manufacturer,
Yes.
and you're trying to ask him about IDs for the convention center.
I need one for at least me as a staff member, potentially 2 staff members, and then everyone else just to get them into the convention.
Okay. If for clarity's sake, if they have like a low lifestyle and want to spend some of their spending money for the month, they can just buy convention admission tickets.
What do you have to give up? What info do you have to give up to get the tickets? Just money, straight up?
It would just be a sin check. Like, that's all it would be.
All right, so yeah, I'm just gonna get staff ID then.
Sure.
So
Sure.
maybe 2 staff IDs.
Tell me a little bit about your info broker. What kind of person is he? That kind of thing.
Well, her
I'm
name
sorry,
is
you're not your info broker. Your ID manufacturer.
Yeah.
The info broker is just gonna wait for now.
Yeah. No, that was my bad. I misspoke.
Her name's Molly. At least she goes by Molly.
I mean, it's hard to tell
She's
when it's an ID
yeah,
manufacturer.
that is true. She's a younger, maybe a late teenager. She just has a thing for digital artwork and putting statistics to it.
So more of a forager, less of a creating a fit, like
Yeah,
more
less
visual ID,
sanity.
less digital ID.
Yes,
Okay.
less sin oriented. Probably has some access to it, but that's not really her primary thing.
So like access to SID registry through somebody else.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So yeah, no, she will. It's like 7 o'clock on a Monday night, so she'll probably answer like no problem. Like, hey,
Hey, Molly, looking for some help over here.
oh, I love a good project. What do you got in mind?
I just need to look like I work at a convention center over in downtown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you think you can look up the credentials I'm going to need and get those over to me before Wednesday? Earlier the better.
As long as you're aware that my services are going to cost you more than a ticket to get in the place.
Oh, of course. That goes without saying. You do a good job, we'll even throw a little bit extra in for you.
Oh, I always do a good job. You know that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I gotta let you know that the pay is commensurate with the goods.
And then she'll
I'm confused. Are you hiring a hooker or getting a fake ID?
Exactly my thoughts.
maybe a little
Money
both.
makes the world go around.
So yeah, no, she can get you two employee IDs. Let's go 200 million apiece from whoever wants to purchase those.
Sure thing.
And they'll be delivered to
I'm
you
good.
tomorrow night, we'll say.
Okay.
For like 24 hours to get those made.
Are they gonna have like security guards at the parking lots, not letting cars in unless they have tickets, or is it just ticket when you walk in?
For the convention center?
Yeah.
For the like the main convention center itself, there's going to be um, some actual like no bullshit security guards. These are the guys that are going to like just check your badge real quick, make sure that whatever weapon you are carrying is security zipped, so that you can't like. Remember those the zip tie things I was talking about earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So there's gonna be like a little station as you go in the door where you kind of like, this is what I got. Here it is. They'll take it from you. They'll assign your convention pass a number and whatever the RFID tag and the zip tie is, so that if that zip tie breaks, you will be swarmed by plainclothes ninja cops.
So I
But you
can just
said,
drive in and drop the kids off at school without having having an ID. That's good by me.
I mean, you could. Like this isn't downtown, so they could very easily take just the bus down the street and get off at the bus stop and go into the convention center. It's not like in the middle of nowhere. There'll be taxis all over the place, Ubers, like a little bit of a big deal.
You said that it's 200 new yen a piece for the staff IDs.
Yeah.
Why don't we all get staff IDs?
But I was thinking that might be easier to get in.
I don't really need to. I don't see any reason that I need to necessarily go in. If
Well, the issue with that.
we need people to be outside as well.
Well,
I was gonna keep a hover drone around, making sure there's no outside shooters and such.
yeah,
Do
and
the drones that you have, is there like a range limit on them, or can you just kind of go wherever?
They connect via the matrix, so the only range limit is their battery life. But I can't just fly them around unless there's some sort of distraction, which a gunfight would be a good one.
Mechanically,
Okay, so you,
they have 100 meters before they start taking any kind of like noise penalties.
Oh,
Like
shit.
if you're over 100 meters away from them, you start taking dipole penalties to like your remote control actions and stuff, because the signal just gets a little bit weaker. Also, if they are in like a high electronic traffic zone, like I don't know, a convention, they might
Fair.
also have some problems with poorer reception.
Fuck it. Take the 200 new yen out of my pay. That's fine.
Well, so the crux there is the ID is on quick inspection. Are you going to be able to sell yourself as a staff member if anyone gets curious?
that was actually my point. I have only like 5 dice for bullshit, so that's not a lot.
So it's going to be a lot easier if you can't actually sell yourself as a staff member to just buy a ticket and go to the convention.
Exactly.
Play it off as the awkward IT guy who doesn't want to talk to anyone.
Exactly.
Play it
So
off as
that's my point.
so we may want to do that too.
No, I'm good. I will need one.
But it might be useful to have the staff option. I mean, we can't. Once we're in, we can't get extra delivered to us in 15 minutes, right?
I mean, she told you 24 hours for this first one.
I think
the answer to that question will come up when you like. I can't say yes, and then have that situation come up and have you guys roll dice and be like, gotcha. She can't do it. Your dice roll sucked. If you're in the moment and you need like, oh shit, I need IDs now, and you call her up, and you roll 5 successes on those 5 dice, she could probably do it for you, but like, probably charge you out the ass because it's like super inconvenient. But
honestly, I think we just need one person to be in security, and the rest of us who don't have a poor lifestyle can. He said we can just roll the cost into our lifestyle costs, so we can all walk in, no problem.
No one actually talked about security. Staff is not security.
this is true. Staff is not security. It is like janitorial and
Ah,
housekeeping. And
So a security pass. If someone had a security pass, that would be awesome.
well, we
Can
kind of
that
already
be
used
done?
the contact. Well, I don't know. We could roll that into the previous roll. Would that be possible with that roll?
something like specific. So, because here's part of it. Part of it is like the
we're still
convention is going to
overcomplicating
have its own security. this is obviously a bigger deal and has additional like official knight errant security involved.
If I
So,
find the need
don't bother.
to be or present myself as a member of security, I can handle that on site.
Yep. We can just go with the staff one for now and roll with it on the spot if we need it. But we may just trip unnecessary alarms if we've got a fake security guard running around.
Okay,
Okay.
so we got the staff badges. It's 2 of them, if I'm not mistaken. So that's taken care of.
Yep.
So what's
Can
next?
you just write down who's taking those?
Can I get one of those staff badges?
Anyone who wants to spend 200 of their opening 1,000 million.
Right over here or something where we got those.
One.
All right, so we've got people inside. I think that we can probably just save checking Matrix security until like they're set up in their hotel room, that we can see what kind of security they have set up. But
A good question.
Should be
Which
good.
building is the highest? So is the convention center higher than the hotel?
The hotels are definitely higher. The convention center itself is no slouch, but the hotels are going to go up into like double-digit floors. The parking garage is going to have 6 floors. Six above
Sure,
6
thanks.
floors, I should say.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
6 above ground or 6 total?
It's 6 above ground.
well, then I think the only thing we have to do for legwork before Mr. Guy arrives and sets up in his hotel would be to have our Matrix person check for previous job listings for Shadowrunners, see if anything lines up with an assassination at a convention center downtown.
Yeah, we can have somebody do that on the Matrix. If anybody has a contact that they could pursue, that would be another good avenue. I don't have one.
There's the info broker, but he's not loyal. So as I said,
Well, we also have our fixer would be a good option for that.
You could ask Larry.
sure. That's actually he's in for it. He's actually
Do we have a lot of confidence in his I don't
Manual
know.
dexterity.
His
Is he known for playing it for a lot of teams?
Well, here's a couple of things. One is this is only like your second job for him. Does anybody have like the shadow community or any kind of other related knowledge skill that they might have some idea about his history?
Damn it!
No, unless he's magical.
Knowledge gangs is about all I got.
Nah, he wouldn't be gang. He would be more organized
He's
crime.
the fixer gang.
The fixer gang. All right, so it sounds like we're relying on Matrix for this one, unless we want to trust him outright.
Or the info broker. And it's not so much that you
Yeah.
can't trust the info broker, is that you need to pay for his
Trust.
discretion.
Or, yeah, it's
Okay.
trustworthiness.
You know what? I don't have actually. I'm magical and shit. So I have my reagents. So I don't think I have a lot to pay for at the beginning. So maybe I can just try to call him. And but how much is reasonable?
So I have a bellhop contact, and I have a quality from my mentor spirit that lets me pull a contact out of my ass. Would it be worth having my bellhop be the bellhop at this place? Like at his hotel?
How's
Or should-
the bellhop's loyalty to you?
2. He's too loyal.
Ah, snap.
I mean, that sounds like Ears in the hotel without us having to do much maintenance, but he's probably not going to... Yeah, he's got a job to do. He's not going to be able to just watch the guy's office 24/7. Maybe he can tell us if they make any weird requests, but...
Well, he could also get us room numbers. He can get
Yeah.
us other information like that.
Yeah, or let us know if, a group
Ooh.
of, like,
What's that?
a troll, 2 elves, a dwarf, and a human walk in with a bunch of weirdly heavy bags. He could let us know about them.
Hey, I got 4 successes on the matrix check to see what I can find.
What kind of matrix search were you doing?
Um,
Because it's a 3-hit interval
yeah,
or
it's a
a
very
6-hit interval. And you can extend it test the 6-hit one. It's just that's taking you a little bit longer time.
okay. Like, I guess we're setting up for the run, so I can do a little bit longer. I'm trying to find out, like, whatever information I can on like how, not just what company it is, whatever, but like how thorough their security is going to be, like how tight I can expect to be in the, in the
Sure. So we'll translate a
in
little bit of that
convention
role
and
into a
stuff.
little bit of your interpretation of it, that kind of stuff. So security at a whole is going to be higher than average at the convention center itself. However, like let's say it's the convention center security is going to be twice as much oomph, but the amount of traffic is going to be like 3 or 4 times as much oomph. So while the security will be higher and will be more thorough, they are going to have a lot more people to process. So you can use that to your advantage. You can almost assuredly expect random pat downs to, because this is a weapons place and they want you to not be able to pick up a gun and shoot the guy that's trying to sell it to you, that kind of thing. Um, what else would you like to know specifically about it?
Um, I guess more or less like what kind of matrix security and so forth I can use, because if I'm going to want to scan their network, I
Okay.
might want to like kind of probe around, see where the network is, how it's set up, and how hard it might look at you know face value on how hard it might look to try and get in.
So the host itself is a rating 4 host, which puts it at about uh, 4, 8, about 10 dice to defend itself from being hacked. Um, you can't tell much more about it without being inside the actual host. There will be cameras all over the place, but at the same time, there's going to be a huge amount of um, people with their own personal electronics there. Like everybody there is going to have a comm link. Everybody there is going to probably have some sort of other miscellaneous electronic device, not including the people who are really into electronics and are going to have like a camera drone following them around, because who pulls out their phone now to take pictures when you can have a little robot follow you around to do it? Or the people who are going to have like their cyberdecks, or those that are running with smart guns on wireless because you need to see the really cool AR collector's edition information about the gun that I'm carrying, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Anything else you would like to know about it?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Sure.
If I do, I'll try and piggyback off on that one good roll, so I don't like critically glitch later.
Not a problem. You got 4 successes. I gave you a couple of pieces of information. Um, there's a little bit of a room there for you to wiggle with.
Yeah, because I don't want to like critically glitch anymore. That was funny then, but now it might be serious.
I can't imagine
Yeah,
why.
it's like he really wants to give us an easy run, but that we make it impossible, like critical glitch after critical glitch.
I mean, like, as long as you guys don't have the idea of, like, I know, let's light the entire convention center on fire, then, you know.
Wait.
We'll take out the breezeways and the hotels, and then they can't assassinate him. It'll be fine.
With that being said, do you guys want to call up the info broker, or
So I asked a question. So can I tell by my connection to him in my previous calls that if I sort of say, I get the info I want, or I don't, and then I said, I want to pay you so that you don't tell around that I asked. Will it be my money versus someone else's potential money, or would it be like he has any kind of principles? So like
so here's what happened. The Johnson gave you guys 5,000 Nuyen. That was Nuyen to the team to do whatever the team wants to do it with. However, the team wants to pay this guy is up to you guys. That I don't care.
So
For the guy, for the information he has, I don't know how much information he has yet until we give a connection test for him.
Okay.
When we find out how much information he has from that test, he can give you, I can give you a price of like, yo, he wants this much money for the information, up to this much money for the information that he has. The money for the information would be separate than the hush hush money, which you
Exactly.
don't
That's
have
what
to
I'm
pay
talking
him the
about.
hush hush money, but that
We'll
will
give him
involve
like
another.
20% gratuity.
Okay, but does he have like a set hush hush price, or is it
Let's
like how much are you willing to pay?
well, let's just call it a 20% gratuity because that's probably just a good average number to go with. Because
That sounds reasonable to me.
Okay, okay. So sure, I want to call him and check if he knows anything about stuff. So matrix search and social search.
Sure. Go ahead and throw 11 dice for him, and we'll see what he knows.
Me?
It's your contact. You're just rolling the contacts dice pool, not your own for anything.
everyone stare at the screen judgingly, make him feel nervous.
I mean, okay. See, what were you worried about?
Jesus, this is like
He was worried about being two from a glitch.
I mean, that would have just resulted in certain other things that would have happened. Like,
okay. You didn't pay me last time.
I mean, it would have depended upon how things went, but
Okay, okay.
so, he will ask for 2,000 new yen. If you like, he has up to 4 hits of information, and you are more than welcome to pay him $500 per hit of information you want. I know that's a really abstract thing, but we'll get into it in a little bit.
So it's like a hit is a question, so like this, right? So I can ask him one question for 500 million or not?
You'll get a little bit more than just like a question per interval of new yen, but it will more or less like, I will give you a blanket bit of information, depending upon how much you want to give, and then clarifying follow-up questions, more or less.
Okay, team, any preferences? Are we willing to chime in, or am I paying alone? Because that's a difference in money. Difference.
I think the big question is, do you know of any Shadowruns that are out to assassinate a guy at this convention?
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about the money. Is this question worth 500 or 1,000?
Give them all $2,000. I'd rather take a 13,000 million cake job than a little extra money and have it be more difficult.
Look at this guy.
And we'll throw in the extra 400 so he doesn't tell anyone about it.
Happily.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the deal.
Yep.
We are really generous.
Like, we want to know their names. We don't want to skimp out on any info here.
Two size.
Sure. So, tell me a little bit about your contact, so that we can flesh him out a little bit.
Well, I actually don't know much about him. He's just, I came to Seattle looking for this friend of mine, and I didn't really know how to turn to. And, someone told me that there's a guy called Locust who buys and sells information, and I can sort of leave a little bit of money, and he will make some info available to me. Now, he doesn't really socialize a lot, so I don't know anything about him. I just know he picks up a certain call, gives info and information,
Is it like a dead drop thing where you make a call resulting in an inquiry, and then sometime later information shows up?
Well, we negotiate about the price and such, and then information happens. Now, I don't have anything special in mind for him, but he's like someone I would call from time to time and give him a little bit of money and ask, did you hear anything about that friend? And from time to time, I might also ask, do you know anything about the Shadowrun at a convention?
Sure. He's the kind of person that when you answer the phone, he's going to have one of those like, "Hello, how are you?" kind of like.
Oh, please, please.
I mean, you could talk to Bane if you want.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, Locust. Is your friend Bane all right? Is his throat okay?
I'm not going to do that, even though Okay.
You think darkness is your ally?
I was born in it.
I was born for the information. You are only looking for it.
God, like that movie is just not as good as it should have been.
Yeah. So yeah, we are generous. We are paying him 2,400 million for anything he has, plus hash hash.
Okay, so he will tell you that um, he is aware of a hit that has been taken. I shouldn't say a hit. A contract has been taken out on a man here. It's not exactly a last minute thing, but this is more of a target of opportunity. It is a local person. Um, I will get an actual details about the person in a little bit. That he actually knows. This guy has paid him some money to find out information on the very same person you're asking about, and he could, in addition to supplying information about this guy, could supply you information about your protectee as well, so you wish. The the hitch he feels is a little bit of professional integrity of like, I I would rather nothing terrible happen to my contact, just as I'm sure you would rather have nothing terrible happen to you.
Sure. Yes, that's understood.
Now, I can give you this guy's street name. That's fine. I could do that for you. But just don't tell him that you got this information from me. It is just one guy, and he has a let's say a history of being very efficient in his methods of killing people. He almost exclusively takes wet work jobs, and doesn't really ask too many questions about the person he is hired to off.
Wait. Do you understand this correctly? He is the one who wants to kill him?
No, he's an assassin. He does not care about the people that he is hired to kill. He'll kill anybody that you want to pay him money for. Um,
You said he has a history of taking wet work jobs almost exclusively.
yes.
He doesn't really ask questions about the targets. Do we know whether he tends to work alone or whether he works alone exclusively?
The information that he has points to a singular person. And if Twitch
Okay.
chat wants to come up with a terrible street name for this guy, please do.
Okay. So you said he can give us the name. So it's about waiting for the name, or it's about waiting for the money
I
for the
mean,
name?
I assume that he has been paid somewhere throughout the course of this conversation. I am waiting for Twitch chat to give me a terrible street name for this guy.
Okay.
At the
You
same
have to talk
time as
Ragnarok.
giving you guys the time to ask more questions.
What does this guy have like a particular style? Does he like to, get literally wet, or does he prefer to? Okay, phrasing. Does he like to be up close and personal?
He has performed numerous assassinations in a variety of different ways.
That's the exact answer we're looking for. Damn it!
Why don't you
He
play the new Nier game with me when I can get my hands
the
on it?
only like restriction that he knows of on this guy and taking these jobs is that he requires operational freedom.
Does he have any contact information?
Like the guy's comm code?
Yeah. Any way for us to give a call to the guy or something?
Whoa.
That's his actual like question is like you asked, do you have any comm image? He's like, you got the guy's comm code?
If you have it and the price was right.
Well,
That would have been DNI though. I'm not on the call.
well, I can put him on loudspeaker. It's not like he's not used to dealing with teams of guys wanting to pay him money.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's
Phrasing again.
Amazing again.
you just hear that like distorted Bane voice of like, you want his phone number? Like everything else was super professional, but all of a sudden it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's an assassin. He was paid to do the job. Single information. Okay, so it's like clear that he paid him to know something about the target, but it's not clear that he's, uh, okay, no,
Twitch
that
chat
goes
has
nowhere.
supplied the street name of Duchess.
Okay.
It's a he?
I mean, this guy, he doesn't
It
really
doesn't
know,
have to be.
but the street name that is associated with this person of interest is Duchess.
Wow, okay, that sounds actually kind of cool.
It sounds like he's probably killed a man for making fun of him being called Duchess. In fact, that's something that the info broker tells you.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay,
Okay,
now, I know. Let's make fun of him publicly, and then he comes to us, and then we kill him, and then there's no problem anymore.
I mean, yeah, that we could bait him out like that. They don't know how stupid he'd be to just walk around the Matrix and be like, "Hey, oh, the Dutch is stupid. You just go kill us."
Yeah,
But
probably
in
very
this
stupid.
situation, we could definitely deflect the attention from the target to us. That's a very valid strategy.
Yeah.
He's an
just-
assassin, and he's a successful assassin. He's probably very stupid. So yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So-
Just because he's killed somebody for making fun of his name doesn't mean he's going to kill everyone who makes fun of his name.
Well, let's be the best at it.
Hey, we have a good face. He can come up with some witty insults for Duchess.
Unless he does kill everyone who makes fun of his name. In which case, we're going to want to go on a recruiting drive through the Barrens and get about 100 urchins.
No.
Wait,
Like, let's get a parade in a convention. Just just throwing insults into Duchess's face.
So, before we go on
Black trench coat's my ass. Go on.
before we go on to our second break, do you guys want his comm code?
Does
Because
he have it?
he
Like
has it.
available for?
Just like fucking showed up.
If we call him, he can call us. Is my input
not-
on that question? I'm not.
we're
gonna
not going
say-
to call him either way. I think we're all on that page. But if we had a com code, we could look up.
locate it?
Yeah.
So let me clarify what I mean here. Your contact has the comm code of Duchess that Duchess uses to call your contact, because you guys have that contact in common, it would seem. So that is the number that he could give you for a price, and that is definitely an above and beyond normal operating procedures for him.
Well, that would go a long way towards our plan to stop the actual threat. So I don't know, guys.
But would we be able to use that to track his comlink?
Yes and no. If you could with the actual comm code, you could search the matrix to see if you find it. You would then need marks upon the device, and then to run a trace on it, and that would tell you its physical location. Now, whether or not that is his specific work comlink, or that is just the comlink that he uses to call this guy, because you guys probably all have a couple of comlinks on your person. That's not something that I can answer for you until you attempt it.
I was just about to say exactly that. Even I've got 2 throwaway phones that I can just use to call and then get rid of. We could wind up paying a ton of money for absolutely nothing. It's a bit of a risk.
Okay, so
Yeah.
maybe we paid 2,000 already. So let's leave the com code there.
That's fine. Just felt like I would address that before we move too much farther.
Okay, so we have his street name. We can probably do some research of our own on the street name.
Yeah.
After the break. Da-na-na.
Yep, we'll see
Next
you guys in a minute.
episode, the Duchess hunt.
I'll talk to you guys in a couple of minutes while we go take a break.